focused on evolve your DevOps culture with platform engineering. And for this, I would like to invite Mr. Shailesh Gogate, Head of Partnership from Devtron. Shailesh carries over 2 decades of industry experience, supports open source technologies and maps them to business benefits. For the last 5 years, he has been evangelizing container technologies and DevOps methodology. With this note, can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Shailesh?
And then a subsequent question, sort of next level, is how many people know about IDP, internal developer portal. It's different than IDE, by the way. Perfect, so 3 people, good. So for others, I hope this session will be more insightful for you. I represent Devtron. I'm a DevOps evangelist and also manage partnerships at Devtron. Being a startup based on Gurgaon, pretty much the scenario is we wear different hats. So I do sales, pre-sales, marketing, partnerships, wherever I'm needed, I sort of interact with them. So let's look at DevOps. The speaker prior to me spoke about DevOps fairly and DevSecOps as well. So from a point of view, DevOps is like a team of chefs who work together to prepare and serve dishes in a restaurant. So what do they need? They need tasks, who does what. Pastry shop does something else, starter guide does something else. Then it needs tools, ingredients, quality, and speed, because the demand is high. I need to make sure that the speed is also there as I go to market, literally to the customer's desk, is important. Now let's differentiate between DevOps and go a little more deeper into platform engineering. So platform engineering is the kitchen where the chefs work. So it needs tools. Tools like stove, oven, fridge, utensils, clear systems. And the platform engineers build and maintain the kitchen because they are providing all the guidelines, guardrails, golden paths. All of that is something which platform engineers do. So equivalent in a restaurant, people wear different hats, and some of them work doubly as platform engineers, and that is how they make sure that the food is served quickly, in time, with quality. All of that is important because now, as we evolve, the operations have to be streamlined. So, for example, I have a question here. How many people know or have used building 𝐶I/CD pipeline? First question, there are 3 options. One is more than 3 months, less than 3 weeks, and somewhere in the middle. So I'll go with the extreme end. How many people are spending time in building a 𝐶I/CD 3 months or 3 weeks or more? 1, 2, 3. And then there is a leverage of, so I think I misspoke earlier, 3 months, it's not 3 months, it's 3 weeks. And then there is other element of that as it can be created in 1 day. Now, do I have everybody's attention? A 𝐶I/CD pipeline out of the box can be created in 1 day with all the policies which you've already designed and just have to be implemented in it. Now, whose role is that? The role is of platform engineers. They make sure that the guardrails are given. Let's say a developer in Kubernetes space, a developer should or should not have access to 𝐾𝐶TL. Why? It can create a havoc. But only specific access controls need to be given in order to execute the 𝐾𝐶TL and recommended accesses essentially. So those are some of the pieces wherein look at kitchen being an internal development platform. I chose that example because all of us sort of go to restaurants, so we understand how it works. And then the build and deploy apps is something which is serving food. And the last piece is quality and speed, so which means that the developers, now hear me out, developers need to have good user experience, only then they'll actually build quick applications. Otherwise, it'll be like 3 weeks and more. So those are some of the aspects which the platform engineering actually provides. Now let's look at core components of an IDP. I think a majority of the folks who are there don't have any idea of what IDP is. So application configuration management, as I mentioned, a guardrail needs to be created. A certain health chart is available only to a certain developer, and all of that, including the configuration management, is built into the core component of IDP. Then environment management as enable developers to provision new environments when needed. So today I'm working on app 1, tomorrow I may be working on app 2. I need those environments to work with me and make sure that the platform engineers are getting that access to me, and I can quickly start working on it. Deployment management, as in the CD aspect of it. The earlier sections were all CI, as in working obviously creating a pipeline and then making sure that quick time to market is managed or maintained. So initial setup doesn't take a lot of time. Imagine instead of 3 weeks, 1 day, you can actually create a pipeline. And I'll talk about it a little more, or we have a booth out, please drop by and ask questions wherever relevant. And then the last point essentially is role-based access control. As by default, Kubernetes gives you only limited access control. You can explore that with your SecOps guys. They will raise hands and so, Kubernetes is secure, not secure, all of that stuff. So role-based access control is an important element when you're traversing through CI/CD across different applications. That is something which the product does. What are the challenges? There are thousands of tools. The reason why it takes 3 weeks is to have those scripts being written, be it Jenkins or Azure DevOps or whatever it may be. It takes time because you're stitching them together. You also have to manage and maintain them over a period of time, so you need a dedicated team for that. All of those aspects is something which is important. The update part is where I'm referring to. The team needs to be managing that. Then stitch and manage multiple tools together. Make sure that when you're building a Jenkins pipeline, if you have to integrate your Sonar Cube, the portal is ready, integrate that in your portal, in your Jenkins pipeline, and then start working towards it. Maturity of IDP, tribal knowledge. So somebody set up, a smart guy comes in, he sets it up and leaves. People are sort of, figuring out how do I deal with this and manage. So you need a uniformity, whoever is building on those pipelines. Maturity of IDP as the org scales. Maybe you start with 1 or 2 applications and then over a period of time scale the number of applications and also improve the processes of building the CI and CD and data operations of that. And migrate, deploy to multiple clusters, because now, initially maybe 2-3 years ago, people were happy working on one cluster. If you have an OpenShift or tasks to deploy, it would take about 2, 3, 4 months or maybe 2 quarters, whatever, to migrate the app and then deploy it on. But once that is done, what next? So the onus is back on the developers, and he or she has to learn the containerization process and make sure that deployments happen after that. So now this is how your typical environment is. How many of you agree with this is how your entire setup is? There you go. So you have an app. There is Okta. There is Google Kubernetes Engine, some EKS, Prometheus, Grafana, all patched together and make sure that the delivery happens. I'll go a little more deeper in what challenges are there for the developers. So a developer who doesn't know what is containers, what is a Docker file, what is a Docker image, that is a challenge, because you've been mandated by the management to make sure the containerization happens, but this is a challenge. You may outsource it, but even in the market, there's hardly few folks who can understand how to containerize an app. Then the security. The gentleman prior to me talked about how to set up zero tolerances if possible, and policy enforcements and all. Then scaling of deployments, as in, can I manage the same app getting deployed at 2 or 3 different clusters? Is one of the challenges. So can we do that with one single tool, for example? Performing rollback, as in canary, blue, deployments, all of that needs to be configured. And then from a security standpoint, there are tools, then there are alert mechanisms which are typically done by the DevOps team. So you need a solution which is a single pane of glass. As I said, a tool which would be able to create a CI/CD pipeline, integrate your current processes, and do that in 1 or 2 days, depending upon what your pipeline be. That's where Devtron comes in. So it's a platform engineering suite, typically worked by or along with your platform engineering team, or it is used by DevOps team as well. They develop as platform engineers, essentially. So those are some of the scenarios where it's battle tested. We have customers like 𝗃𝗱𝗶, Delivery, 𝗃𝗱𝗶𝘁𝗶, and then now certain banks are POCing our product, because typically the mindset people had is that this is just only work for scalable startups. But the challenges, as I mentioned, for enterprise customers as well, containerization is a problem, deploying on multiple clusters is a problem. How do we deal with this? There are different stages of platform DevOps maturity. I'll skip this slide. It's too verbose, but the idea is that there are steps. Basic baby steps would be lack of capabilities to custom solutions to reusable and centralized artifacts to automated bootstrap, environment as a service, and last is the internet development platform. Now, all of this is possible as you drive your own CI/CD operations or DevOps operations using platform engineering. The value which we bring is a lot, as in faster Kubernetes adoption across teams, improved developer productivity, because that's the other aspect which needs to be understood. How can I get more development productivity from my developers, and if I provide guardrails to them, then they'll be able to build the applications faster and deploy them also faster. On demand, flexibility to scale, cost saving, that's the other important element. So if you're using Jenkins and your build infrastructure needs to be up and running till the time your images get built, is that correct? And if you need a caching mechanism where it will help you reduce your operations cost, that's a significant cost saving. That's just one of them. There are multiple other scenarios of how it will help you cost save. Like, let's say if you move from onto a Kubernetes cluster, 𝗘𝗱𝗏 is a zero down policy, which not other systems which actually gives you. So you can bring this whole setup down without any, so there is no billing for you if it's on cloud. Also, in a scenario, you are executing or deploying your app onto a cluster, even if it's unstable, so to say, because of whatever variety of reasons, it will not allow you to deploy. It's typically with Jenkins it does. So all of those policies is something which helps you do that and improve security. As in, SonarQube is pre-integrated. We can integrate other tools as well. There is a 𝗘𝗱𝗏 template already there. You could use that, and or post-deployment, 3D, Eclair, those are tools which are integrated into the Devtron. But if you have your custom tool, paid or open source, that can also be integrated into Devtron. So that's pretty much, not sure how it was on my time, but that's where the whole scenario is. I am reachable at Shailesh@devtron.ai. Number is given. If you have any questions, feel free to ask any, or if you have any questions right away, I can answer those.
Yeah, do we have any questions?
Okay, I guess for now we don't, sir, but yes, we have their booth next door. In case you have still any doubts, please feel free to visit the booth. Thank you so much, sir, once again.